Welcome to the Dice Tower, a series of video reviews about board and card games. Here are your hosts, Tom Vasel and Sam Healey.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel. Hello! Sam has been eaten by the Cthulhu box.
No, I played Cthulhu, so I didn't have to fight him.
That's right. This is Cthulhu Wars, and this is, look how wide the box is. And the box, I think it's like, I think they said it was, when it came in the mail, it was like 7 kilograms. It was like about 15 pounds. This is a heavy box. And this is not even everything. This is the base game. The game comes with 4 factions, and there's 4 more factions you can get.
It says actual size for the mini.
Yeah, well, let's say Sam and I disagreed here. He could actually murder me with one of these miniatures. It really could happen. They're that big.
Yep.
Well, the easiest way is to throw them at the table. In this game, you're part of a cult, and you are trying to destroy the world, at least destroy it so that you are the best. Now, in this game, if you get the base game, there are 4 different factions you can be. There is the Crawling Chaos, there is the Great Cthulhu, there is the Black Goat, gross, and there is Yellow Sign. Each of them has a color. You'll see yellow, blue, green, and red, and they have very specific models. Now, they all have these little cultist models that start on the board, but they also, you have Cthulhu himself, which if you notice, there's more plastic in this figure than there is in many other games. Or there is this big yellow squiddly rah! Okay, so you have lots of different monsters, you have tiles, and over the course of this game, you are trying to have the most doom. That's kept track up here on a doom track, and on this doom track, you're going to start with no doom, but you're going to get doom by either controlling gates, so there are gates on the board, by making dark rituals, or each faction has different ways that they might actually get more doom. So everyone starts with one gate that they're controlling on the board, and each turn of the game, players are going to get power. Now on your sheet itself, you're going to track power with one of your little dudes here, and you're going to get power for every cultist you have out, for gates that you have out, and again, different places will get power from different ways. Power is something that you're going to spend to take actions. You can also spend power. There's a ritual phase where I can basically spend power, enough power here, like 5 power, to do some sort of evil ritual, and when I do so, I'm going to get more doom points that turn. Basically, you'll double the amount of doom points that you've taken. If you control a lot of gates, this might be a good thing to do. And in fact, if this is done enough, you'll see the cost goes up as you do it. The game will end in instant death, and hopefully someone has won at that point. Now, I said again that you have to win by having the most doom. You need at least 30 doom to win, but you also need spell books. Each player has a sheet that talks about their different units. It talks how much it costs to summon them power-wise, any special abilities that they might have. But you also have spell books over here. Each player gets some spell books. So this is the Crawling Chaos. So they have 6 spell books. And these spell books give you special abilities or extra actions that you can take. To put a spell book down, you simply just need to do whatever it says. So for example here, this one here says control 3 gates or have 12 power. If I do either one of those, I can look through my 6 spell books and put one of those on that spot. That's great. It gives me an extra action or special ability. If I get all 6 spell books out, I have a lot of, special abilities, but also you cannot win unless you get all 6 of your spell books out. Each person has different things. So for example, while Crawling Chaos says control 3 gates or have 12 power, the Great Cthulhu needs to kill and devour an enemy unit in a battle to get that one. Or here he needs to awaken Cthulhu. Turns are very simple. Players are going to be spending power to bring out cultists on the board. You can bring out a cultist anywhere you have another unit, or summon monsters. So you can look at the monsters. You might be like, ooh, do I want to bring out this guy? Or do I want to bring out this guy? Or Can I awaken my great old one? Now, awakening your great old one might take different things. Like, for example, here's how to awaken Cthulhu, this big, mean, and nasty guy. First, there has to be a gate in Great Cthulhu's starting area. Okay, easy enough. Then, if this is the first awakening, I pay 10 power, otherwise pay 4. And then Cthulhu appears in the starting area, and I gain an elder sign. Hooray! So, that's how I summon Cthulhu. Each person summoned differently. Elder signs will be gained during the game for different reasons. Usually during the Doom phase, when you're getting Doom points, Elder signs are simply pulled from a bag here, and they're going to be 1 to 3 points. You don't have to reveal these. You can reveal them if it makes you go over 30 Doom to show that there's the end of the game. And the game will end in one of 3 ways, or 2 ways. It will either end when someone here reaches 30 Doom, at which point everyone reveals their Elder signs, and whoever has the most Doom is the winner. Or it will end when an instant death is get on the ritual. And again, whoever has the most Doom is the winner, as long as they have completed all 6 spell books. If the game ends and nobody has done all 6 spell books, then humans have won, which I think is a good thing. But not for you if you're playing this game. So, other than that, there's more minor things in the game. There's yellow corruption that the yellow guys are spreading across the board. There is combat in the game. You'll spend power to fight other units. You can move in the same territory, and you can have no problem with each other. You're both eating humans merrily. But if you fight, you'll get a certain number of dice, depending on your combat skill, and you'll roll these dice, and 6s are auto kills. Your opponent has to remove a die for each 6, and 4 and 5 are called pains, which means they need to retreat somebody. If there's no one left in the area but cultists, enemy cultists, you can just gobble them up as an action, as a power each turn. And then there's other special things that players can do. So you're moving around, you're fighting, you're trying to control spots, you're trying to build more gates, summon monsters out of those gates, all so that you can destroy humanity. I hope you're proud. Okay, let's start off with some candor here. When I first heard about Cthulhu Wars, I thought, okay, well, that sounds kind of interesting.
Another Lovecraftian game.
Right. Then I saw it at a convention, a prototype, and they had all these big blobs of plastic everywhere, and I was like, okay, that's kind of cool looking, but there is no way that there's a game in there. And I assumed going into this that the game might be okay. And then I saw 60 to 90 minutes in the box, and I said, no way. Because we know these companies always lie about the time.
Right.
But I was incorrect here. This was surprisingly a pretty solid game. Really entertaining, and it was that fast.
Yeah.
This is 60 to 90 minutes. I feel pretty confident that once you know what you're doing, that 60 minutes would happen more often than not. Because it goes, the game flows, it's pretty quick. It reminds me a lot, mechanisms-wise, of Chaos in the Old World.
Okay.
But it's much more streamlined than that. This game has all these powers and things, but it's really streamlined.
Yeah.
And is some satisfaction at putting out a gigantic Great Old One.
Yes.
Boom.
Blank. Yep.
So, what do you think about the miniatures?
Okay. I'm going to open that can. Overkill. That's what I think about these miniatures. I think these miniatures could have been easily half the size, if not less than half the size. And the money that was used to make those huge miniatures could have been put into other parts of the game, making it a little bit better. I don't know. They look cool. They're great miniatures, don't get me wrong. I just think they're overkill. I think money could have been better spent putting, I don't know.
I'm kind of half with Sam here. I think that this should have been a deluxe version and there been a regular version, because I'm telling you right now, I'm recommending this game, but at the same time, it's hard for me to say you should go out and buy a $200 game.
Man.
Okay? I'm recommending the game on basis of its gameplay.
Okay.
Gameplay is fine. That's what I'm saying.
It is a fun game to play. But I don't know. I have real reservations recommending somebody to go out and buy a base game for $200.
Well, I think for some people it's going to be real easy. If you love Cthulhu and you love miniatures, then don't even hesitate, because not only are you getting both those, but the game is good too.
Yeah.
Okay? So let's jump into that then with the game. the game is asymmetrical, which I thought was really interesting, and it has these achievements, right? Achievement unlocked. You can now level up somehow, and you pick which of your things you level up on.
Yeah.
We haven't played it enough probably to gauge whether they are balanced. The Blue Army seems a little easier than the others.
But Jason played the Blue Army, which means that he probably munchkined and min-maxed, and he's good at that kind of thing. So if he was able to do it, maybe we need him to play the other factions and see if he can min-max those too. It seemed to me that once you have all of the different factions up to power equally, it seemed like they offset to a degree. But I think how fast Jason was able to get all of his...
Yeah, but he can read into that faster.
Yeah.
But I do like how fast the game works, and I do like how you're sitting there going, okay, how am I going to expand? And you're kind of in each other's face, but you don't have to be that much. You're like destroying mankind together.
Yeah, that's true, but the board isn't big enough for you to turtle anywhere. You can't really turtle.
No, but you can actually stay in the same space without fighting one another. You have to choose to fight. And it's actually harder to attack people that way because you have to kind of move in first.
Yes.
And then next turn attack. I think that would be the one gameplay thing I didn't like. Because I move in, it's like, hey, I'm going to attack you next turn. You're like, no.
Oh, don't mind us. We're just over here doing our own little thing. Oh, by the way, we're going to attack you now. Yeah, it seemed clunky to have to move in because you're, I don't know.
Well, you are allowed to attack people after you move once you have all 6 scrolls. But at that point, you're super powerful.
Right. And everybody else is pretty much too.
But I liked all the different things. What do you think about the theme, where you are basically a great evil god? I mean, because we talk about Chaos in the Old World. This is that same kind of theme, sort of.
Well, it is. But at the same time, Chaos in the Old World had a lot of different things where they went over the top with their design choices, with making a board that looks like human skin and all of that kind of stuff. And it was that was offsetting for me. To be honest, I don't. The models are nasty looking, to be honest. I mean, they're cool in that how much detail they have, but man, once you and when you have just the plastic glob sitting there, it's not that menacing looking.
Especially since they're bright colors.
Right.
It's like, hey, I'm Cthulhu, but I'm a beautiful blue.
I'm fabulous. Yeah. No, but I mean, once you get them painted like these guys up here, they can look really menacing and probably even frightening. Based on who you are. I'm not going to, have nightmares at night now that I've played Cthulhu Wars, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, I don't know that I can recommend it on its family friendliness.
Well, let's say 14 plus, so there is that.
Yeah, there is that. But, I mean, I will say this. I enjoyed this game much more than Chaos in the Old World just because... it felt more like I'm taking my armies and I'm conquering these areas. But I mean, the terminology that you had to use, I'm using a cultist, I'm sacrificing a cultist. That's still there. But step back a little bit, and it's you're taking your army against everybody else's army, and you're trying to conquer the same areas. That's what it really boils down to, whereas Chaos in the Old World went a step further and incorporated a lot of the nastiness of those armies into the theme of the game, the theme and gameplay. So I guess my final answer is, this and another game that's very similar to it, I'd probably pick the other game that's similar to it. I'll put it that way. But I didn't really have as much. I did not have as much of a problem with this as I did with Chaos in the Old World.
Well, I like it. Okay, so my final opinion is a tentacle up. I think the game is fine. It would get 2 tentacles up if it just was more reasonably priced. Okay, so you're getting this big deluxe game. It's super fast. It's very easy to teach and play. The asymmetrical part is really well done. I mean, the sides are very different. And I'm always a big fan of that.
Yeah.
It feels. I mean, one guy's a big bulking guy. The other guy's corrupting things, which is corrupting him with the yellow, which made for a lot of jokes.
V for Vecchio.
the whole thing just flowed very smoothly and easily, and it left me saying, woo, let's do it again, right? So that's all well and good. My biggest drawback is just that this feels like it's Super Deluxe version, which I can recommend to people who want Super Deluxe versions. I wish they had made a smaller, easier version that came in a box, like this size here behind me, that anybody could buy. Maybe they will someday, who knows?
Yeah.
But if you don't mind the price, and you are getting your money's worth miniature-wise, like the Cthulhu miniature alone is more plastic than in most board games.
Yeah, that's true.
Then get it. So I'm here to say gameplay, solid, overproduced.
Way.
But I liked it though.
Yeah, okay. Well, I guess I will... My main rub here is price point and just the sheer opulence of it. I mean, it is just over the top. I guess you could call it a deluxe version, but it isn't. It's a first edition. And I think they swung for the fence here, and I think they knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
But, I mean, base game, $200, and then if you want to buy the other factions, another $140. Man, that's close to, with shipping, that's close to $400 for a complete game. And I could probably buy 2 complete memoirs for that much.
Yeah, with all the expansions?
With all the expansions. And, I'm going to get more playability out of Memoir. I'm going to get more options in Memoir. I don't know. I just see...
Okay, but let's say the price point doesn't bother people. Then what?
Price point doesn't bother me. If you got $400 burning a hole in your pocket and you are a Lovecraftian fan, go out and pick this up now, because it has great gameplay. It has solid gameplay. It has very cool asymmetrical powers for each faction. I think they balance out once everybody gets up to speed, everybody gets up to full power. I think everybody has their own little quirky power that they can offset everybody else's power with. So if you got the cash, go get it. And you're a Cthulhu guy, go get it. You won't be disappointed.
And if Cthulhu ever does rise, this will protect you from the cultists. Hit him with the game. And then throw the miniatures at him.
I think the miniatures would probably do more damage than the game itself. Especially with Cthulhu. He would definitely be impaled somewhere.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.